understand, I'm only one member of the committee, but it's my understanding that, if I do not act tonight, this motion will die. I'm operating under that legal understanding of the process and procedure. If we do not act tonight, the ability to reconsider this in the future will die. And with that, I'm only speaking for myself and my state of mind, for myself. So the committee is aware of that, and with that, I yield. Thanks.
Also, given the information I was given, if this does not go through, the county executive could reappoint Supervisor Rodriguez, and they can go through the process again.
Exactly it, right?
Chair Noodle?
Well, one of the things I was just gonna say that, because if that happens, county executive could send and still could come to this committee next month. That's what, the other thing is, if it was so important, so crucial, and they knew since August 4th, I believe the date was, or something like that, the last meeting, why wait till the last second on Friday to put it on the agenda? And again, that question is, now that it's gotta be on the agenda, or if it's on the agenda, then you guys can vote on, how did he get on the agenda? A supervisor should have asked, and not the corporation, county executive office. That's who has to put it on the agenda. And that's what I don't think it's legal to do that. And I know they've been saying that it's lies and lies. There is people lying, but I tell you what, it's not me lying. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Noodle. Is there any other discussion? Supervisor Nowosky?
To my knowledge, there's not anyone in this room that's an attorney. Anyone? So all this talk about what's legal and what's not legal, what's the law, what's Robert rules, what's our ordinances, we don't have clarification from Corporation Counsel here. We could call him. But the fact of the matter is, some people are making up things like they know the law. Some are saying, I talked to Corporation Counsel, or I got information from Corporation Counsel. Some are saying they knew what somebody else was thinking 5 days ago or 3 weeks ago. But the truth is that we're here to vote on this motion to reconsider. If there's a legal problem with it, someone will bring it up, and we will have to address that at a later date. The Corporation Counsel spoke to the chair, you spoke with the Corporation Counsel, you had confidence that it was legal, and you approved it to put on the agenda, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So, nobody in this room is a lawyer. Every time they open their mouth and say, this person is in charge of this, and this person is in charge of this, I don't know if they're exactly right. Because I know that I represent District 16, and I am accountable to District 16, and I don't have to run every decision I make for District 16 on behalf of District 16 through a supervisor who represents a different district. I yield.
Supervisor Uhas. Supervisor Uhas.
Through the chair to Chief of Staff, are you aware of any other supervisors that applied for this position?
No,
And why is that?
I can't answer for supervisors why they would or would not have.
The reason why is because no one else was asked. The county exec only asked Supervisor Rodriguez to fulfill this position, which she is within her rights to do. But to say that only one person applied is true in the sense that there was only one person that was aware of the application process and was given an opportunity to apply. So I would just like that to be on the record.
I believe Supervisor Bashaw was there.
I heard a number of statements that I'll try not to get into the quagmire with, but I understand that there's a question of timing, speed, the necessity to get this done because we're out of compliance with state law. So from the time this was initially referred from the board to committee, it went on the next subsequent agenda. Was it addressed at that agenda, that meeting?
I'm sorry,
Or was
I
it
can't hear you
deferred?
very well.
When this was initially referred from the county board to this committee for its next subsequent agenda, was it taken up that evening on that agenda, or was it deferred until the next month?
I believe we, did not hold a meeting in July, and so it was not taken up until August.
Which month was this referred? It was a June referral from
I
the
believe
chair.
it was end of June, right before, it was the last meeting of June.
Point of
that I
order.
Recommend.
The motion is the reconsideration. It's not the timing of when it was introduced, it's not the rules, it's not the law, it's the reconsideration.
Well, as you like to
Point of
say,
order,
as a
you
lawyer,
can tie
still
that
have
into the-
power, it's
you can
still-
tie that
Excuse
into
me,
the
excuse me,
reconsideration.
thank you. Continue. Is that all, Supervisor Mitchell?
No, not by far. As I tend to hear so many gyrations made and who's a lawyer, who's not a lawyer, who has voice, who doesn't have voice, when we're referred to what the state would do, what the state law is, and advised on that by the same member who says that we're not lawyers. It's interesting to me. But it came to this committee, my understanding was it didn't get taken up on the initial, that was my understanding of the timeline. Then it was taken up on the subsequent, it failed. It went back around, but it failed because there wasn't enough votes on one side or the other. It was just a hung jury, 3-3 votes. Is it my understanding, or am I incorrect? Did I understand that the appointee was working to have it delayed to the next meeting to make sure that a certain member could be here
Point
to
of
make sure there was a
order.
vote? You raised the question
Mr.
of
Chairman, are we
timing
going to vote
and
on the
how this must be
reconsideration, or
done
are we gonna
immediately.
argue about who said, he said, she said?
Point of information,
And we can
No.
take-
that, my point of information is in order, so I'm gonna talk.
Continue.
Because Supervisor
Not
Bashir
if you're not
said-
recognized, you're not.
Good thing you're not the chair.
Yeah,
But
it
you're
is.
not on the
I
committee,
asked-
so
Quiet,
there you
please.
go.
I asked for this to be deferred because I could not be here, and I knew Supervisor Nowakowski could also not be here. And because during my time as a chair and as a county board supervisor, new appointments, in my opinion, as just as me, should always be there for their meeting. And in practice, when an appointee could not be there, it would be tabled. And that's what I asked for. Knowing that there would be a tie, assuming there would be a tie, and I assumed correctly, the county board chair was made aware of it. The county board chair was asked to do his job as defined by the law, and break the tie. And the county board chair sat in his office upstairs. So here he is tonight speaking against the appointment. I'm just curious why he wasn't man enough to come down and cast.
Point
the
of order,
vote.
that's out of order, that's
Okay,
out of line,
now
that's
I'm gonna
ridiculous.
speak, whether you can call me out of order or whatever. This is completely uncalled for. If you wanna lie,
Okay, please
I'm
stop.
not gonna, hold on, no, I'm gonna finish talking now, okay?
No, that's
If
not how it works.
I will
Excuse
make a
me.
drastic decision. I can make a drastic decision
Excuse
right
me,
now.
if we
It'd
could
be
please hold
just-
the debate.
I'm
If
sorry?
you could please hold the debate. Are
That's
you
what I'm
finished with
doing.
your
It sounds
point?
like he's threatening to
If
remove
you're,
his chair
are
if
you
you want to
finished,
talk,
are you
but
finished with
I
your point of
shouldn't be
information?
surprised.
You know,
Are you finished with
got
your
a
point of
big job.
information?
What I said was accurate, and the chairman and video cameras and.
Point of,
He
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
sat
on,
in his
hold on.
office.
Supervisor Rodriguez. You were given a point of information to Supervisor Bashaw's
And I
comment. Are
believe
you
I
done?
answered it unless he has any further
Thank you.
questions.
Supervisor Bashaw. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I do now, as there was a statement just made that you weren't available to be here. However, you were available to be here for the board meeting immediately following, so I find that.
Hey, we can,
interesting.
we're not having, we are not having back and forth.
Why don't- why don't
We are
I
not
keep
having back and
taxing
forth.
your
So
Stop.
legs?
I'm speaking to the timing. That was, the big argument was, this must be done because of timing. If it's not taken up tonight, it fails, and then we're out of state compliance, and then we're breaking the law, and then we're doing all these things wrong. I asked for a legal opinion on this. I believe you should have one. I believe it is fundamentally important for us for you as a committee, for us as a board, to make sure that our legal representative can provide appropriate opinion on this, not to delay it. So, that's my opinion on it. I appreciate the statements made, as they certainly are expository, but thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Jordan.
Okay, I got a couple of comments. Number one is Supervisor Rodriguez said that he could not be here. However, he knows that I was sitting in my office. How did he know that I was sitting in my office if he could not be here for the meeting? I was accused by another supervisor that she was thousands of miles away from Kenosha, that I was sitting in my office and I didn't want to come downstairs to vote party lines. The other thing is that any new supervisor, when I say new supervisor, appointed to a new committee should be here tonight there was a supervisor that was appointed. I didn't hear anything to say, let's defer this because the supervisor is not here.
I'm not on the committee, otherwise I would have asked.
But you're speaking now, why are you
Please,
speaking now?
quiet,
You just speak whatever
quiet.
you want.
We are not
You just
having
speak
debate,
whatever you want.
Supervisor
I don't want anybody
Rodriguez.
to say anything that you do, but then you
Excuse
open
me.
your mouth all the time.
Right.
We will
Yeah,
not have
that is-
back
You
and
got your
forth.
ring on, should I come over here?
Supervisor
Oh,
Rodriguez.
shut up.
That's-
Just be.
That is out of order.
I'm a man
Supervisor
enough to
Rodriguez.
do
Oh,
another
man, I'm
request
sitting in your
again.
office and I.
Supervisor Rodriguez.
Gavel this.
It's clear that you guys are gonna delay.
You shouldn't be talking!
It's clear. that
Excuse me,
Adjourn.
You're out
you
of
do not
order.
have the floor. You do not have the floor. This is discussion, we are not having back and forth unless you
Just
ask
one
through
last
the chair.
question, just since I still got the floor, right? Just one last question. Who is Supervisor Rodriguez being appointed, who is he succeeding?
John O'Day, who did not wanna be on the board anymore.
I was asked the question, if you'd mind. Does it say on the packet, he is succeeding Supervisor O'Day? It says on the resolution.
Okay, and when did Supervisor O'Day resign or was removed or whatever, or expired or whatever? When was
I
that?
defer to Tammy.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
When did Supervisor O'Day?
Resigned
Resigned
or
from the committee or leave the
term
committee.
expired or whatever?
I do not have that with me, so.
If I
We do
recall
not have
correctly,
it.
it was months ago, the supervisor, or they say it was not appointed. So that was not, the appointment was not made by them. Okay, thank you.
Anything else,
I'm
Chair?
done, and I'm going upstairs because the meeting is gonna start.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
I have one thing to say real quick, 2 seconds. If anybody calls a question before we can debate the last thing, that's really crappy. So I just want everybody to know, we should have the ability to discuss this. So, thank you.
All in favor of, the motion to reconsider the resolution to approve the appointment of Supervisor Rodriguez to serve on the Board of Health, say aye.
Aye, roll call required, requested.
Supervisor Gearston,
Aye.
Supervisor Uhas,
Nay.
Supervisor Kubicki,
No.
Supervisor Gens.
No.
Supervisor Stocker.
Aye.
Supervisor Nidwski.
Aye.
Chair votes no. Is there any other business as authorized by law?
Motion to adjourn.